Um, okay, TopoWorks. What is Carlson TopoWorks? TopoWorks was introduced last year at the Intergeo, and it is Carlson Office software. So many of you know Carlson from the field, from the data collection software, SurfCE, SurfPC. But actually, the Office software is equally important for Carlson. So Carlson also has a lot of Office software, survey, civil, hydrology, mining. So that's a large part of the Carlson business. TopoWorks, as a lot of other Carlson products, is based on IntelliCAD, the IntelliCAD engine. So a lot of people, if you mention CAD, they automatically think about AutoCAD, but there are more CAD systems. IntelliCAD is one of them, and it's basically just as good as AutoCAD. There may be some features that AutoCAD has and that IntelliCAD doesn't have, but also the other way around. IntelliCAD has some features that AutoCAD doesn't have. Although usually if we have a feature in IntelliCAD which is not in AutoCAD, then a year later AutoCAD has copied the feature. But in any case, IntelliCAD is a full CAD engine. TopoWorks is also based on Carlson's Survey, which is our mapping software. We have noticed that Carlson Survey is, especially as sort of an entrance software, is a little bit too much for a lot of people, because it's very there's just a lot of stuff in Survey, and so we wanted to slim it down a little bit. So you could also call TopoWorks Survey Lite. So we just went back a little bit to the core of mapping software. That also means that TopoWorks is especially aimed for the EMEA market. So we also removed a lot of, let's say, American functionality. That has all been taken out. That also means that the software is easier to customize. That also means that we have it available in different languages. Dutch, German, Spanish, I think Russian is also on the way, or maybe even finished. Customize also means that it will be easier to customize the software in terms of, for instance, creating formats that you would like, specific formats for your area. Last but not least, TopoWorks and the Carlson Office software in general is the perfect interface with SurfCE and SurfPC. I think that's most important. We have a lot of support cases where people are struggling to get data into SurfCE or to get data out of SurfCE with DXF and all kinds of conversions. With TopoWorks that is not necessary, because TopoWorks works directly with the SurfCE job. So you can create a SurfCE job in TopoWorks, and you can also import a SurfCE job in TopoWorks. So you don't lose time and you don't lose information by all sorts of conversions. So no need for an ASCII export and then bring it into another system. With TopoWorks, you have a very easy one-on-one interface with SurfCE. So that's very important for your efficiency and your workflow. So TopoWorks has a CAD engine. It's based on CAD, but it has a lot more. It has a cleanup of drawings. It's very important, very useful feature, especially for SurfCE. Again, we get a lot of support cases where people try to import a 15 MB DXF file into SurfCE, and SurfCE has some CAD functionality, but SurfCE is not a CAD package, of course. SurfCE is a package for data collection, so it has limited CAD functionality. So there are limits to what you can do in SurfCE in terms of CAD, and that's why we have TopoWorks. Of course, TopoWorks not only works with SurfCE, but also some other data collection formats from Leica, Trimble, Topcon. That's all available. Of course, we have some COGO operations. We have some advanced field to finish. It goes a step further than what's available in SurfCE and SurfPC. A lot of very useful coordinate file utilities. So coordinate file meaning the job file from SURF-CE. So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of checks you can do on the job file from SURF-CE. Of course, volumes and profiles are available. Drawing inspector, something very useful that was available in IntelliCAD before it was available in AutoCAD. Cut sheets with vector display, very useful for your stakeout. Of course, area calculations, all sorts of annotations, centerline functionality, and also Google Maps background. That's very important. So let's go through some examples to illustrate what I mean. So first of all, it is a complete CAD system. I have to tell you beforehand that I'm just using the regular Carlson survey because that's available in English, and I could show you TopoWorks in Dutch or in German, but it might be a little bit complicated, so I'm using the regular survey version. But everything that I'm going to show is also available with sort of the same menu structure in TopoWorks. So first of all, as I mentioned, it's a complete CAD system. That means that if you open a file, then you start to work in a DWG or DXF file, or even if you would like in a DGN file. So it's really CAD software. Also, if you would save a file, you see that for compatibility reasons, we support a whole lot of AutoCAD releases. You know, even back to release 2.5. That must be somewhere in the Middle Ages. That's very old. Then of course it's a CAD system, so you have all your layer information. You can lock and freeze layers. You can do all sorts of drawings. So you have your polylines, and you can do your drawings. You can create your arcs and everything. Yeah, all the tools that you would be used to, like let's see what we can do here. Just draw another line, and you have your tools for trimming as well. So it's also standard. You have your leader with your text, all sorts of information. Let's see what we can show here. So all sorts of whatever you're used to with your CAD system, or what you would expect from a CAD system, is available here. So it's really a CAD system. Okay, let's go back to another example. As I mentioned before, cleanup. Cleanup is very important. So, for instance, I can open a file, and it's a DXF file. Let's have a look at the file. As you can see, this is a large file. You can see here on the right-hand side, this is nearly 14 MB. So that's a pretty serious file, especially if you want to put it into maybe your small data logger with SURF-CE. So let's open this and see what it looks like. It's not spectacular. It's a simple topo file. Cleanup. We go to drawing cleanup, and here you see a list of checks that the software will do. For instance, it will remove duplicate points. It will remove duplicate line work. It will erase all sorts of blank entities. It'll join line work with the same endpoints. That's very important for your closed polylines. Also, it will remove layers, empty layers with no entities. Also very important, it will convert all sorts of entities that SURF-CE doesn't like into polylines. So there are some entities that SURF-CE doesn't like solids, for instance. So you'll have a problem displaying these in SURF-CE unless you use TopoWorks and cleanup and convert them into polylines, because Surf-C likes polylines as the basic entity in CAD, but doesn't like some of the other stuff. Okay, so let's see what happens. So this takes a little bit of time because it's a large file, but this is a very useful option, and we have customers that basically purchased TopoWorks or Survey mainly for this option, because it's really a great option, not only to sort of compress your file, make it smaller, but also to fix all these issues that you have with polygons not really being closed or having overshoots, all that kind of stuff. So it's now working on solving all these issues. It takes a little bit of time. Like I said, it's a 15 MB file. So let's see what we will end up with. So what we'll see is the difference in size. So doing this cleanup should really result in a major reduction of the size of this file. So it's still working. What it will also do is it will use the latest version of the DXF or the DWG format, and that also usually saves a lot of makes the file a lot smaller. So I think it's nearly done now. Checking the elevation range. Okay, so here's the report. So you see a lot of polyline vertices were removed, line work entities were joined. It's very useful. This is also very important. So there were some entities that Surf-C will not like. These were converted into polylines. So that all looks pretty good. And what I can do is I can save the file as a DXF. It's a standard DXF, and I can call this cleanup. And you can already see the reduction in size. So this is the original one, which is nearly 14 MB, and this is the cleaned one, which is 4.5 MB. So that's a reduction of nearly 60%. So obviously, this file will give you, only because of its size, a lot of problem in Surf-C, and this is a file that is much smaller, and it's cleaned up. A lot of issues were solved, so that will work perfectly in Surf-C. Okay, let's go to another example. Preparing your stakeout. That's also important. So let's close this for a moment, and let's open a file. See a file here. Okay, so this is also a pretty large file. As you can see, if I zoom out, this is a big file. This is not a file you would want to load into Surf-C. So let's assume you just have to stake out. You have to stake out some points. So you don't need a complete DXF. You just need some points to stake out. And I can easily pick them from the map. So what I will do is I will go to COGO and I will say create points from entities. And as a description, let's call this building like this. I'll just select points and I'll give it a name, the CRD file. You can already see I'm already creating a CRD file, so that is a Surf-C file. So I'm not creating an ASCII text file that I have to later on convert into the Surf-C format. I'm already creating a file ready for Surf-C. So I'll replace the current file, and I will take the points from this building and this building, building here and here and here and here, just like that, and it will start to create my points. So It looks a little bit sloppy, so I can resize this a little bit like this, make it look a little bit nicer. So I've taken all these points, and I've immediately created a CRD file for ServCE. Of course, there are other possibilities. So if I would go to survey and to data collectors, then you see that we also support Leica, and also, for instance, the Leica DBX format. So depending on the area where you live in, the DBX format can be a standard. So you could be on a construction site where whatever instrument you use, everything has to be in DBX format. So for TopoWorks, that's not a problem, because you can import DBX files, but you can also export DBX files. So you create a DBX job name for Leica, and you select the coordinate file that we just created, and then you can create data for Leica users. So just 100% focused on ServCE. You can also create other formats for import and export. Okay, now let's assume the situation where somebody has done the stakeout and you want to check the quality of the stakeout. So you want to prepare a cut sheet. So let's reopen this like this, and so let's assume somebody's done the stakeout with ServCE and comes back with a ServCE job with the stakeouts point, and we just want to see how well he's done. There are also some cut sheets options in ServCE, but we'll just look at what we have available here. So we go to survey and then to cut sheet, and then we'll just import our cut sheet file. So let's assume the guy outside created a CRD file called stake building. So we open this file, and then let's I know that the first 24 points were the design points, and I'm going to check on a tolerance of 20 centimeters like this, and I want to check the horizontal error. So there we are. So I have a nice display, and I'm seeing my sorted horizontal error, the variation from 0, which is quite good, to 6 centimeters, which is a little bit much. Again, you see how quick this goes. I just take the CRD file from ServCE. I don't have to export to an ASCII file in between, and then read in the ASCII file into Excel, and in Excel try to make a sheet like this. It's already available in TopoWorks. I can create custom reports, so I can say create a report, and in my report I want to have my point description, and then maybe my delta values, maybe some comment, maybe my design description or whatever, and I can export this. I can export it as an Excel file, as a spreadsheet file, or I can simply display it and export it. So I have all these options available. What I can also do is show this information graphically. So I can say draw labels. So I want to see my deltas. So I will say draw labels. We don't need this anymore. We need to change this. So then, as you can see here, you get the graphical information. So here, for instance, this point was a 0 difference in the easting and 6 centimeters in the northing, and this was 1 centimeter and 1 centimeter. So you can also immediately from the ServCE job read it into TopoWorks, create a report, and even create a graphical display. So that's one of the useful features. Yeah, what I can also do, I didn't mention. I think I mentioned that before. Google background is available. So, for instance, I can export this in a Google Earth file, and we'll see how this goes. We'll create a Google Earth file like this, replace the current one, and I'll just try to make a selection like this, and then we'll see what happens. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to use Google Earth, and if my coordinate system was right, we should see the same information on the Google background. It's a bit of a challenge because part of my bandwidth is used for the webinar, so I'm not sure how this will work out, but we'll just see how it goes. Okay, so here's my information. You see that it did a pretty nice job in displaying the information. So that's another option, a very useful option for sharing data. Okay. Let's move over to another example. That is field to finish. Okay, let's close this for a moment, and let's go to field to finish. What a lot of people do is they have done some sort of field to finish in Carlson SurfCE, and then in SurfCE they create a DXF file, bring the DXF file into CAD, don't really like it because lots of issues, font size not being correct, problems with text size. My advice would be, don't do that. Don't create a DXF file in SurfCE. Just bring your job, just bring your CAD file of SurfCE, bring it into TopoWorks, and do your field to finish here, because TopoWorks is much more powerful, and it will save you a lot of time and a lot of frustration. So what we'll just do here is we'll just set our coordinate file like this. So I've just brought in the coordinate file from SurfCE, and then I go to field to finish, draw field to finish, and here I have a lot more control on my layers and on whatever I want to do. So this is the information from outside. So this is my code library, and as you can see, I have much more options for my symbols and for my lines and whatever I want to do with the file. So at this point, I can simply say OK, and it will start to process the files, the code files, and also the special codes, and it'll turn it into a drawing. So here's my drawing. So you see how easy that was and how much more control you have compared to SurfCE. And then I can simply turn this into a professional DXF file if I wanted to. So let's put something around it, and let's give it a title like this. Could even put in a north arrow if I would like to, like this, place it over here, and I could export it as a save it as a DXF or DWG file. So that's how easy it is to make a professional drawing straight away from SurfCE. What we haven't really discussed yet is the coordinate file utilities. So these are again utilities that work on your SurfCE job file. For instance, I can very quickly check on duplicate points. So for instance, do I have duplicate points? I can set a tolerance of a millimeter, and it says no duplicate points, so that's good news. I can also very quickly renumber the points. So my points are now from, let's say, from 1 to 1400. Could be that I don't like that because maybe there's going to be a conflict with other points, so I'm going to say let's renumber this and start at 2000, and it will start to renumber the points. So that means that if you would list the points now, we say list points, list all, you see that they are now automatically renumbered. What we also have as an option is to look at the point history. So as you can see here, I've already renumbered the points a couple of times. This is what I did today, this is what I did yesterday. I also added a couple of points. This is very important if you work with multiple people on the same software, on the same project. You can exactly see what has happened to the various points, to the commands, and to the points that were changed. So that's very useful. Another one I'd like to point out: swap Nording and Easting. Also very important if you made an error by reading in an ASCII file and you swapped the Easting and the Nording. It seems like something obvious, but it actually means that your whole drawing was mirrored. But with swap Nording and Easting, you can fix that immediately. So that's extremely useful. Okay, then let's look at the final example: volumes and profiles. Now, volume and profiles. Again, you can do a little bit of that in SurfC, but of course in TopoWorks your options are much more powerful. So let's close this and let's open this file. So here I have a 3D model, triangulation model, and I can have a 3D look in the 3D viewer. This is something that SurfC doesn't have, but I can select it and I can look at it in the 3D viewer and go around it. Maybe do a little bit of exaggeration of the height to get a better view. So that's a very useful option. Another useful option is of course profiles. So what I can do is I can make a quick profile. It's available in TopoWorks, and I can say let's go from north to south like this. And here you see my profile. You see my height. You see my slope available as well. Adjust alignment, so that means that I can actually move my quick profile and change the direction of it. So that's a very useful option. I can also save it, and I can say I will save this as a profile. It will create a name for it, and then I can say draw the profile. So I can say draw the profile. It was just this file that I created. I'll say OK. Then there are a lot of options. So I'm going to use my own settings. So you can change the settings. There are a lot of settings, but you don't have to be afraid that you have to enter these settings again, because you can save them in a file. So I've entered my settings, and here is my very basic profile that I've drawn with station and elevation. Okay, these were just a couple of examples, and we're sort of near the end of this short seminar. So a little bit of a summary of what we did. So TopoWorks is based on CAD. It's a CAD system, but it has a lot more. It has a lot of mapping tools. So it's not just simply a CAD system. It has more functionality. Most important, it's really the perfect interface to SurfC. It will save you a lot of time. It will save you a lot of conversions. It will save you a lot of frustrations. it will save Carlson a lot of support cases if you would be using TopoWorks together with ServCE. That's just one of the main messages from this webinar. Also, TopoWorks very easy to for localization, customization. We will add new formats. We will add new translations. So it's really very suited for our EMEA area. Also, this is sort of a very easy entrance to the other Carlson office software. So like I said before, we have various office software. We have civil, very useful for roading. We have construction software, very useful for preparing all sorts of data. We have hydrology, we have mining, we have lots of other software, and TopoWorks is really an easy step, an easy first step into all this software. Also, value for money, list price is below $1,200. If you compare it to what the competition have, probably just the CAD software that we are offering and the drawing cleanup is worth the $12,000. So let alone all the other options that we have with the stakeout reports, with the field to finish, with volumes, with profile. It's really great value for money. This package. Okay. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions, we can take a few questions now. We've done already half an hour, but you can ask some quick questions, or you can send them to me or send them to our support mailbox. And also note that on the Carlson EMEA website there is a TopoWorks page with information. In any case, thanks again for listening in, and let's quickly see if we have already some questions.
No questions.
No questions. Okay. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to send them to our email address. And for now, thank you for listening, and thank you for joining this webinar. Thank you. Bye bye.